Color of the red rocks, color of the red in your eyes, each and every day as the sun rise and as it set, and ooh, then you start to see the magic gold inside yourself, because Colorado really is the Rocky Mountain High, and it's from here that we take off and fly. Yes, indeed, dear. The center of love, the center of the heart, the Rocky Mountains, babies. And the Colorado in the center of it all. I'm surprised this state isn't heart-shaped like that little country over there on the other side of the earth called Loving You, man. Yeah, it's just a little north and east of Milan. You'll figure it out. But is this little heart-shaped country never been invaded, man? Because that's just living proof the heart is the strongest thing there ever was or ever will be. Besides, those ladies over there in Loving You are far more powerful than any nuclear weapon or army ever dreamt of being, man. I mean, they can neutralize toxicity immediately with one little glimpse, one little shake, one little wiggle, and all the troops, they start to giggle, and the bomb just melts away and says, God, I can't do this today. Loving You, babies. You betcha. It's a magic little country. That's why our dear divine friend and associate, the hot chick, hangs out over there, because it's such a loving little place to be, man. And what is she made of? Nothing but pure love, babies. 99 and 44 100% plus the other 99 and 40 100% added to that. You know, so she's like 300% or something, you know. Maybe that's 3,000. Hell, I'm bad on my math, man. All I can tell you is she is the hot chick. I mean, nobody can deny it. I mean, her presence is known. Everywhere you go, everywhere you be, it's her presence that you see. Once you've encountered her, that is, you know. She doesn't show herself to everybody. In fact, pretty darn few, but yet she's here on a regular basis all the time, helping the nations of the earth settle their stupid-ass little hearts and get on with the program and quit shooting at each other and shit like that, you know. In other words, she just takes this energy, this little country that's never been successfully invaded or bombarded, and she spreads it outward just a wee bit, man, you know, and all of a sudden these people start to get this twinkle in their eyes. These severely militaristic people start, you know, shucking and jiving just a bit, you know what I mean, Jelly Bean? I mean, they got some rock in their roll all of a sudden, some heart in their soul, and wow, it's a different ball game. They become more like the Peace Corps or something like that, you know. They don't invade countries to bomb, kill, and destroy. They invade to share the wealth of their energetic, loving hearts, man, and all the abundance that goes with it, you know. Nobody's being militaristic anymore. I mean, you know, swords into plowshares and shit like, we don't even need plows, man. Screw that shit, you know. Swords into creative love and emotion, man. Let every nation be like Loving You, and be loving you here in Colorado as well, in the Rocky Mountain High, because it's a really special place to take off and fly. If you don't believe me, ask some of the hang glider pilots that come down here. They'll tell you, this place pure magic, man. And there are no two ways about it, you know. The energy's in the land and in the heart that beholds it, you know, that lives within it, you see. Yeah, it's part of our essential energy here on Earth, of course, but every place is. If you're there, it's purely essential because you're there, wherever that might be, you know. We're all in this loving reality dancing. I mean, gosh, you feel this today? It's just like, wow, I think it's going to go on forever, man. I think we're just going to, wow. There's no end to the beauty of a day like this, man. There's no end to the beauty of the expansive spread we got going on right here inside of ourselves, right here now in this moment of time, man. You know, it's the most awesome and amazing moment there ever was to be or ever will be, man. Because we're alive and breathing and starting to see, understand stuff that made no sense to us before. Wow, babies, yeah, you know, we're settling into our own reality, in other words. Starting to experience and see and live truth. Ooh, and hatching it out like a hen sitting on a warm egg, too, babies. The blossom is on, you know, spread them mighty wings. Ooh, and shine those mighty things, those golden hearts of love, babies, as you fly across the sky. Yes, indeed. flying so high. Yes, tonight the fire's in the heart. Tonight the fire's in the sky. Tonight the love of the moon is shining and reflecting the sun and helping to clarify it for everyone. And in the dark of night comes the light of day. As out into the dancing enlightenment, the children begin to play. Yes, indeed. Shuck the threads, babies, and do yourself a little moon dance tonight, babies. Ooh, and your heart will wake up all right. Yes, indeedy. And it don't matter if you do this for real or metaphorically or in dream or however it's achievable for you, you know. We don't want to advocate any behavior that may get you in trouble with anyone, anywhere, at any time. We only send the energy of love and truth and light and regenerative shit like that, you know. Don't you know, right here on this Coyote Medicine Show, you got old Grandpa still rolling with the flow like old Charlie Rich as we spread our old mighty wings out and fly with these mighty things. Now, hey, if you kalink, kalink all the way around. Welcome to the Morning Coffee Club here on the Coyote Medicine Show. Only on Hazy Radio, don't you know? Now you got to see this new mug, you know, that I got here. I know you can't see it through the radio, but take a look through the microphone there. You'll get the vision of it, you know. It says Grandpa Coyote in colorful lettering, and it's got 4 little shots of my persona there. Beginning with one, fortunately, on the backside facing you if you're right-handed. Now, if you're left-handed, everybody's going to think you're admiring some punk because that's the first mug shot there. My mug on the mug. There's 4 of me on the mug here, you know. And the first one is a 17-year-old punk that's God. Looking like he's got a little attitude, you know, got these dark alien, anyway, wow. You know, from humble beginnings, you know, out of the, you know, the depths of hell comes the fire of life, you know. And next to it is a fiery looking one with a very colorful grandpa and his old white beard shining. And then there's another one where I'm addressing the radio or TV audience through the cameras of love in the now time of now with that bright little butterfly. And in fact, there's a couple of them. The last one is like, you know, cowboy hat and me, and probably got some little orbs in there, some little spirit energy going on. And that transformative butterfly right behind me. My old golden microphone before we got this donated replacement. Oh, jeez. Guys, we live in a magical place, all of us, you know. Anyway, that's a beautiful little mug, and I appreciate you guys ordering them. And wow, you know, I'm not all caught in vanity. I'm amazed at what I see before myself too. It's interesting, man. But that's on the mug shop, the page called the Mug SHOPPE. There's a link for it at the top of the page there at the home page at thecoyoteclub.com. And you know, I've done the best I could with that website. Take a look there. And I do update it every now and then. I still don't have any downloads on there. I was going to be doing that, and I don't know, one thing leads to another, and I stay pretty darn busy these days. So we'll just see what we can do. But there is a lot of sweet mugs there, and, you know, a great way to help old Grandpa Coyote and tribe along the way, which is you too, you know. We're all sharing the wealth, babies. And, you know, you're supported in this great heart. I'm supported in your great heart, and we all live in this world together. And I really appreciate you guys. I really do. Top, bottom, in between, you know, where we stand anywhere else is immaterial. We stand in the heart. We stand in that truthful heart, that love that radiates, that brings us and unites us all together and radiates outward from there, you see. We gone way beyond the silliness of making love and gone into the depth and height of unite, unify, conscious presence in each, an acknowledgement of the individual soul, no matter what it's appeared like or what it may be, an acknowledgement of the individual soul and the righteous heart in it, you know. I mean, we're clearing up our view of ourself. So this weekend, you know, as this energy continues to flow, and you'll see things kind of falling back together, you know, I mean, it's reassemblage, essentially, energetically inside of our personal being and presence. And there'll probably be some physical accompaniment to go with that because, dynamic change is reflected in the person in all levels. And the physical presence is, the organic. That's where it begins, It's the feeling side of us, because in that material kind of thing, we get the scratch, we get the itch, we get the drive, we get the feel. We find love that's a growing, living thing that we can experience with one another as well as inside of ourselves in a real personal way. And in a real personal way with another when the heart finally allows it to be. For us to finally create ourselves again as we naturally are. United one and forever. And expanding from that union through the divine energy of love into all of this creation. Yes, indeedies, babies. That's the Vibe Tribe. That's you, I. That's everyone. At the center heart of all existence, you see. They try to make us think the creative act is somehow insane, ugly, evil. Goodness gracious. Or that we should feel shame or guilt about things. Gosh, babies, I know there's a lot of warpage here, has been. Just follow the flow inside. It'll help you check out the reality of the ride, and you'll start to do like we're doing here now, moving beyond that physical presence that's so fixated on itself into the higher dimension, the wider expansive consciousness where the heart truthfully lives. See, we're already in a state of union there. We exist in the same great ocean, the vast ocean of love. We're little individual drops of water, yet the whole ocean in that drop too, babies. We're all of it. That's what we're beginning to feel. That's what we're expanding into, see. It sweeps the physical along with it, of course, but the physical is like, I don't know, how do we describe this? A radiant part that's coming into being as the energetic person transforms. So then the physical transformation takes place along the way. It's a little slower coming into being, but if you look, if you watch yourself, you will see physical changes. You'll be amazed at what's really happening here. A lot of folks I know already are feeling a whole lot better than they did a moment ago. Understand? And this happens a lot around places like the Coyote Medicine Show on the Hazy Radio Network. Yes, indeed, babies, Because why? Because your heart is alive and kicking. You're a conscious presence in kind of a dumbed-down world, doing the best you could with what you had to operate with. And guess what? You're getting on with the program now because you're beginning to understand why you're here. And what's happened and why it's happening. And it really doesn't matter so much now because we're right here. Whatever that was, it got us here to this moment where we can now receive and be in the open heart of love that we are and just be the love that we are. Divinely present, babies, yeah, in the nurturing love that brought our life forward and all the other lives with it. Again, I point out that most all births in this reality are preceded by a joining, an act of love, a conscious orgasm. Shit. I mean, you got to think about that. We're all little gifts of love. That's what we're made of. And see, we've been extending ourselves through the generations like this, passing ourselves through moments of love. That's how we preserve the love, one of the ways, and kept the doggone heart alive throughout all the ages of darkness. We were smart sons of guns when we set this up, this little experience for ourselves to go through, which we did, all of us. We engineered and designed this together and then agreed to forget about it and live through it. Wow. Crazy little experience, I'll tell you, man. But it has ripened us. Like the fruit on the vine. And babies, we're automatically fermented. You pop one of these little grapes in your mug, baby, and you got a 10,000-year-old fine wine, and you're intoxicated on life. You're not drunk and slobbery. You're all of a sudden enlightened and aware of the energy of the grape in everything, the vintage of life pouring forward from all life, glowing and glittering with the rainbow golden energy of love, man. I mean, shit. That's the real life we're living in. That's the persona of the grape. And baby, though I tease you a lot, I never would expect you to peel me one, because I kind of like them with the peelings on them, don't you? It helps them ferment in the old tummy, aids the digestion too, you understand. Oh, we speak in so many ways, at so many different levels at the same time. And everybody experiences the dynamic in their own truthful way. And what little part needs to be awoken or moved in that moment, it gets understood and inhabited with a finer spirit of love. A refinement, if you will, coming from your own heart, man. We just cue this shit up, you know. We're like the key to your heart and the heart that lives in that key. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Brothers and sisters united as the Vibe Tribe. And there's no other way of describing it. The Vibe Tribe. We vibe at the same level. We are the same energetic person. Expressed, oh, so poetically in these individual persons that we are. And such a, you know, how none of us look, act, think, feel alike, yet we all go through the motions of life together. You know, we go to the grocery store at the same time, the theater at the same time, out dancing at the same time, etc., you know. We think the same deep thoughts together and don't even know we're doing it most of the time. But that presence is becoming a lot more aware of itself now, that which is real, that which is unified and united, that which is in a state of union and will be forevermore. The joining at the high pinnacles of life. I've expressed it quite metaphorically here as a joining, making love on top of a tall pyramidic mountain, on a soft bed provided by the angels of love, you know, and that as those united there in that sweet moment of deep sharing, of understanding the oneness and the two-ness in the reality, the thirdness comes in too, and that makes us one united in the divine love, in the divine way. In other words, that which is conscious of its presence in the creation, so it no longer passes its life forward into generations anymore, but that energy goes into regeneration. So it's like rebirthing, restarting all of life once again. You know, in a regenerative sort of way. That beginning moment occurs, because there is no real beginning. Every moment's a beginning. But that occurs, that original moment, that divine moment of awakening where the love became a reality in creation and saw itself as gorgeous and fell in love with itself forevermore. That's the part we're remembering. That's the part they always leave out when they're telling you the stories, you know. They always leave that shit out. The awakening of creation, of the love in creation, inside of itself, and realizing itself not just as all of the creation, but as a personal presence in that creation. It was the divine union. It was the consciousness of one spreading itself into everything and everyone. You see? That's the reality of our truthful presence. That's the birth of our earth inside of us once again. The purest thing there could ever be. We see beyond the indignities here. We see beyond the tragedies and the hell that we've lived through. We know the boogeyman. And we know that we created him, but we experienced him for very divine reasons and purposes, which now become all too apparent as we return to that beginning moment and say, wow, into that contented place, that union of love. And there's so many of us there. It's indescribable in the terms of what we know of as physical joining. It's far beyond that. It's a cellular level thing. We're all, even though still personal in these divine angels, a presence in the physicality, yes, as the light-bodied beings we are, but also divinely in union, one with everyone. In that central family of love, that central heart, which is the nuclei of creation, given in the light-bodied way of the humanity, the human, us, all of us. join in these dozen or so or 2 dozen or so beings. I can't tell the numbers, and it's not significant. Numbers don't matter anymore. What counts is creation, love, feeling our experience in that, living in that divine presence, because that's what we are. We've been taught to be such frumpy down little kids and have to work so hard to make ourselves beautiful, you know? When the truth is, every one of us is, and we don't have to deal with ugliness anywhere. We see beauty everywhere, no matter what. That's our innocent eye, see? That's what innocence sees and creates here. It doesn't see ugliness. It doesn't see anything impure. It sees life living in divine, ever-present harmony, and all of it aglow with that glittery golden rainbow of creation love, heart, the ocean of love, the energy that is one in everyone. See how that conscious presence of one just spread itself into creation? And that's the moment we're remembering now. That's the one we're, in a sense, going back to, because it's recreated inside of us here, in this physical presence, in this physicality reality, the matrix, you know? And the machine in which we've been playing in this game and creating this movie we've been living in dissolves away. And there is a union of worlds that reflects the union of hearts that became the loving creation and in motion. You see, it's the return of the divine presence, the awakening. Everybody talks about it. Not too many really believe in it, but here it is. Better you don't believe in it, just live it, you know. Be what you are in this moment of now, and let that show you what the next moment will be, because you're already living it right now, just like we are in that past moment, where everything begins again. Each breath, a moment in creation, a new moment in creation, you see? Every little nuance of motion, a renewal, a beginning. You know, and no matter how grand and divine the experience might become, you know, it's still just that, at that level of beginning. It's a flower that blossoms forever and just keeps growing. It doesn't know how to restrict itself or stop. If there's light and love, there's tremendous blossoming and growth. And it finds itself experiential in all of it, and its sweet fragrance arises and just unifies everything. I mean, it's the sweetest thing ever we knew. The most gigantic and colorful blossoming there could ever be. The awakening to our true depths of experience here in humanity. As the humble hearts that gave it a start, that said, okay, we'll undo what's been done and we'll become the condemned ones, and we'll just get the hell through it until we can feel uncondemned. Something along those lines took place. I can't give it words, but something along those lines took place. And that's when we settled into the darker places. But babies, here we are. Then I saw the light in your eyes. You know, that song, that light, that little gleam, like that crazy little prophet lady there in Salt Lake City I told you about a few minutes ago. You know, the little homeless person that could preach a mighty sermon to the ghosts of the past there on a Sunday morning as the sun was coming up, and her voice, her roaring old voice, echoed mightily off of those empty buildings and the stillness of the Sunday morning there. Pretty incredible experience, those moments, you know. It's when you start realizing the multi-dimensional reality and start seeing the cosmic joke in it, you know. Moments of blissful awakening, awareness, appreciation of what other people might not even be conscious of, might not even see it, be it, nothing. But here we are, and if we can, they are. See, there is no us and them. It's you, I, it's us. Ain't no them. All of us. We're getting it, ain't we, man? Little by little, that divine presence is making itself known in all parts of our person, and presences around us too. You'll find what's self-correcting inside becomes self-correcting outside. So it's going to be quite the enjoyable weekend, I got to tell you. But you're going to have to take it a little slow and just a step at a time, and maybe lubricate your joints a little bit with some joints, and maybe a little slug on a little fine wine or a beer or something. I mean, just don't go getting stupid, but just enough to, lubricate you along. You might, and at the very least, if you don't do any of those things, well, just relax, retire. And if you can get into nature in a humble place that won't be a torment for you, make sure the weather's good and all that. But if you can get into a place out in nature and experience yourself here. Oh, and if you can come out and dance naked with us in the moonlight. I don't know if it's tonight or tomorrow night, but we'll figure it out. Maybe we'll just dance naked both nights and figure that's good, huh? And some folks think I'm kidding and fooling around, and probably I am. But guess what? I'll bet you see my shadowy little ass out there shaking and baking a little bit in the moonlight tonight. You got that right, man. I'm an adventuresome old soul, I mean, I may be kind of retarded and a little, restricted in some ways, man. But in other ways, I've always been a party boy. And, if I decide this is the way I want to play, that's usually the way I play, Unless something else gets in the way, of course. Propriety has everything to do with that. And you learn that after a few years. It takes a while. But even propriety, and I mean, you're still in your own heart and in your own life, an angelic, reckless teenager, I never got older than 22. That's where I stopped growing, right there. I love that moment. It was the worst times of my life and the absolute best, the hardest things and the most generous things I'd ever lived in. Sweet moments, moments I'd really like to see blossom and grow into a really dynamic and powerful situation for us all. So that's where I quit, but I never stopped. I just stopped growing there in that aging way. I didn't want to age anymore. I didn't want to get old, man. I was, primo time there, man, Not that you didn't have your issues and plenty of them, but a primo time, man, So I kept that age. I just held it, Even though I felt older than hell the day I was born, man, I must be a kabillion years old already, man. I know I got a really ancient soul. But that don't really matter. We all got an ancient soul. I'm not so unique in this reality, What's in me's in you too, baby. Otherwise, you couldn't relate. You'd be off listening to Howard Stern, poor guy. I got to get some of his quips and quotes in here again and make fun of him a little more. Maybe they'll give me $3 million to... Arena, what was it, 120? I mean, it was some fantabulous amount to join the satellite network, XM and them, That's a few years back. Holy cow. It about bankrupted the satellite thing because he didn't do that much good for their ratings. They really kicked a lot of bucks his way. I got a respected guy. I mean, I may not always. I'm pretty reckless here on the radio sometimes too, but, I just, the style isn't what I would be participating in. Let's just put it that way. But he does come up with some really fun and compelling moments. I just don't have the time and the energy to sit there and listen to him long enough to find them. The silliness far exceeds it, you know what I mean? So far be it from me to be critical of anyone else, but darlings, I recognize the divine in everything that is, even Howard Stern, shoot. Love him silly, and he's a real renegade, a real pioneer in his time. And when you're dealing with those huge-ass God-blessed networks, the corporate indignitaries and shit, hey, if he found a recipe that worked and that they would accept, hell, in like Flynn, wouldn't you say? I'd do it too, man, but I wouldn't compromise myself quite that much because I'm not that commercial, but I understand the commercial aspects of it, you see. I understand why a person would do that, So really, you got to give him credit, and boy, he did things nobody else was doing on the radio, and it was wild and crazy, but now it's just kind of old and worn out because he couldn't find anything more. I mean, you only go so far with, all the craziness, and then it starts to wear down, and you run out of humor, Real humor, is when you are cosmically aware and you see the joke in life, and you can understand it and laugh along with it, man. You know, you got that gleam in your eye, that crazy lady that worked under such a hard burden there in Salt Lake City. Her mental distress was like beyond belief. But yet, she lightened it every Sunday, man, you know, by going, exploding with her voice in an empty place where she couldn't hurt anyone, man, you know. And I'm sure there was a few people around, you know, the cooks and cleaners that have to tend to things no matter what day it is, those kind of people, and us cabbies and people like that, you know, were around, man. But other than that, she's really, you know, a voiceless person, you know, a voice that's just going to keep on echoing. But the shadows of it and the effect in those shadows, you know, they bring forward a whole new reality, even though this lady's crazier than a loon, man, and what she's saying is probably quite hateful and directed towards a certain class of people and saying, oh, you're so condemned, you better come to Jesus and get square and right and all this shit, you know. It was beautiful stuff, a powerful moment, you know. But as I say, crazier than a loon. Yet, you see, there was something there I didn't recognize at the time, but there was a reason why I was so fascinated with, you know. She was speaking with the ghosts of the past and attempting to release her own in the process. I finally got that today, after all these years. That's shit. 40 years ago, 30 years ago, I don't know, 20 years. No, it's more than 20. It's 30 at least, yeah, maybe more, about 35, you know. That's a couple days anyway. But, wow. You know, and that's what we understood when we passed one another on the sidewalks of Salt Lake City one day and recognized one another and our eyes met. She had that gleam. She knew I'd gotten a joke. And I knew I had too, though it took me a long time to really understand what I was feeling there. You know, be able to put it into conscious terms of verbiage. Sweet moments come this way, babies, and you don't always realize the divine angels when you're there participating. Sometimes you just don't realize it till later, you know. And they do that on purpose. They intentionally disguise themselves to see what your response will be, you know. How judgmental are you going to be? Are you going to be cool with somebody you don't know getting this close to you this fast? And stuff like that, you know. They always throw a little something your way. There's always a little juice in it, you know. That's the Coyote way. That's the Coyote medicine. And it's a reminder that the ultimate joke is we're everything we need to be in every moment that we be in, which is this moment right now. Everything. How's that for getting in the flow this morning? You got the glow on? Oh my goodness. You know, we're just going to, wow. So be ready this weekend for some conscious awareness, continued expansion and growth. I'll keep the energy flying here from 9,000 feet high or whatever elevation I happen to be at as I move around a bit this weekend. But, darlings, the love will be consistent, the enlightenment, the enlightening energies, the re-emergence, the regenerative energies will continue to transform your personal being and presence as you proceed on through the weekend and approach again another Coyote Medicine show Monday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern, 5 a.m. Mountain, 4 a.m. Pacific, here on the hazyradio.com. Something really good to wake up to, you know. Everybody likes to wake up with Grandpa anyway, don't you know? That's how we get on with this Coyote Medicine show. Truthfully is a wake-up call, and now you know. Now you live it. So, you know, there's going to be like some re-circuitry going on inside of you. I know you've experienced some of this in the past, but this is pretty powerful what's happening this weekend, for lack of better terminology. It'll be strongly felt inside of you. That's what I mean. You'll be conscious of the rewiring, the regenerative energies going on, you know. Your whole paradigm's about to shift and change as the person inside of you becomes the real and not the imagined, but the real, which is imagined in the heart and created there and therefore is the real. Coyote everywhere. Coyote, coyote, coyote. Oh, baby. Just remember, it's there for us to dance with, too. So after you get done with your lazy loafing time out there in the boonies, you know, then it's time to gather together with a few members of the tribe and party your asses off, at least tonight and tomorrow night, or, you know, because it's the full moon sometime. I'm not sure if it's tonight or tomorrow night, but whenever it is, and like I said, I'm going to be safe. I'm dancing both nights, man. So it may not be for a real long time out there, but I'm going to do it, babies. I don't care how cold it is, you know. I'm a polar bear once in a while. Tonight's the night, tomorrow night's the night. Whichever night is right, that's when I'm doing it, you know. And if I can't figure it out, then I'll do it both nights. Or if it's pleasant, I'll do it both nights anyway, you know. Pretty chilly last night. I still would have done. Ooh, you ought to seen that thing going down. Last thought here. Golden moon again. That's like twice. The moon has awakened me to come and wave goodbye as it settled into that hazy atmosphere that makes it kind of golden looking. It started reflecting like the color of our heart the last 2 mornings as I've been, you know, by one thing or another compelled to step outside for a moment. And there she is going down behind those San Juans over there, but not quite. She's just settling to them as I walk out the door and see her there and reflecting in that golden haze of the low horizon, you know. Wow. You know, and I could feel the change, and I still do. And it started then, and it starts now. I mean, every moment is that beginning. But this is a pretty significant time of change for all of humanity. So, you know, just recognize that you're willing to glow and grow no matter where it takes you, no matter how it happens. Just keep doing it. Be okay with it. Understand physical presence is altered as well. So rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham and kiss my heart, and let's get that start, babies, because we're here together in it, okay? I'll see you Monday morning, 7 a.m. I think we're going to have a little 2-hour repeat of the Coyote Medicine Show here on the Hazy Radio Network following the conclusion of this divine presentation of love here, hosted by your friend and cohort, brother and sister and grandfather and grandmother and all that good shit. Grandpa Coyote, of course. Who else would try to be all that? Stretches you thin, I'll tell you. He says with a grin, love you guys. Thanks for being here. We're just ever present, baby. Ever present. Well, thank you ever so much, and may the rainbows shine all around you for the rest of the weekend and the rest of the year, man, and nothing but good fortune come your way. How about that, eh? Well, you know, Grandpa is the veritable Pope of pot himself, the Mary Jane's right-hand man. Right now, we're underway with a big campaign to legitimize Mary Jane, and so we're organizing the world's hugest smoke-in on 4/20 of 2015. I think it's going to be a real transformative day for everyone. I want all the little old ladies and the little old men and the little kids and everybody out there smoking weed openly on 4/20/2008. We'll start it with, 4:20 p.m. in San Francisco and work our way across the earth from there. As 4:20 hits on 4/20, everybody wakes and bakes, Yeah, we'll give him a green belly button,
Let's just do a disclaimer here, Grandpa. They say they're going to use the Pillsbury Doughboy as a bar. I just want to be clear. Let me just do a disclaimer so I don't get fined. Out there, it's totally legal in Colorado.
Yeah.
So that's not in here.
I sit here and smoke weed openly on my television and radio shows, and nobody comes busting down my door. In fact, people kind of like it and cheer me on,
Tell the folks where you are so they can find you and watch you.
Yeah, okay, well, I'm all over Facebook, Peter Coyote, or Grandpaw with a W, Peter Coyote with a K. That's the best place to find me. And then, of course, I'm with my radio show every morning on the Hazy Radio Network, hazyradio.com, Hey, letter Z, R-A-D-I-O. I'm the morning man there. I'm on for five hours, you know, from 7 a.m. Eastern till high noon, babies. You know, it's
It's really high.
You betcha. Yeah.
We have a question for you from Ryan, and he's one of the Cooking from Scratch producers. Ryan Kavanaugh, meet Peter Coyote.
Hey.
So I got a question for you that has to do, it's a relevant subject.
Okay.
So, beer is hops, barley, and yeast, right, and water.
Yeah.
I've heard that hops is really close to marijuana in, like, their family or whatever, and I was wondering if you have, or you ever heard of making beer with marijuana instead of hops?
Oh yeah, I got friends out here that do that. See, Colorado, we're like connoisseurs, man, and we've got everything going on. You know what I mean? Because it's legal now, we can do anything, you know. And so people do. So there is marijuana beer on the market. You know, we got several really good micro brews here, and there are people that brew with pot in their beer. Yes.
Is there THC in the beer?
Yeah, they brew it with marijuana as included as part of the. I don't know where exactly included in the recipe, but it's there. And I got friends that make. Yeah, I tell you, well, friends out here make it with white lightning too. Oh my goodness, take your head. Yeah, it'd take your head off. Oh man, you got to be careful with that stuff, especially if you're a sensitive character like I am. You know, I can't drink much of that shit. I get really, really silly. Yeah, this is green. This is green lightning. Beg pardon?
It's a full moon.
Oh yeah, the blood moon, man. I missed it this morning. I actually slept in. You know, I'm up all night long most of the time. Yesterday I had a great day at the Naked Hot Springs, soaking myself down. So I was so lazy this morning, I didn't get out of bed till 7 o'clock. The moon had already gone. I was so lazy. Oh, I couldn't believe it, man. But you know.
Did you say Naked Hot Springs, or is that what you said?
Naked, yeah. Yeah, yeah, clothing optional kind of place. Yeah, they got these sweet little hot springs. Oh, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't find this on the East Coast. You guys couldn't stand it, you know. But out here we're pretty casual. What? Moonshine. Well, the guys that I know that make it, they have a still that they use to develop the oils out of the marijuana, and the byproduct is marijuana moonshine. You know, that's what comes out the other spout. Drip, drip, drip. Yeah. No, well, you can just soak it in moonshine. Alcohol pulls the THC out of it. You can do it that way. But, you know, yeah, that's the lazy man's way. You just throw a few nugs in the bottom of an Everclear bottle and you're set, man. You know. Yeah. Yeah, I make oil and then I include it in my edibles. I even do a Mary Jane donut and a Mary Jane cookie, and of course brownies, of course, you know. But you got. Oh, you bet. Well, I make a fiery one too, a fiery donut, and you put a little MJ in that, and oh my goodness, that's the perfect combination of everything. And then, no, you eat that thing. In fact, you don't even eat it. It melts in your mouth. It leaps out of your hand and melts in your mouth immediately. You know, it's like angel energy in that thing, man. It's got chocolate, it's got cacao, it's got hot peppers, and it's got Mary J. I mean, you know, it's the. Yeah, I tell you, it's just the stuff, man.
This is a serious question from Nancy, somewhat serious.
Okay.
Different kinds of marijuana. Is that true? I mean, like there's different
Oh yeah, there's different grades and there's all kinds of different varieties now. Out here, you know, you go into one of these dispensaries and you got 300 flavors or something. You know, it's crazy, man. You know? So yeah.
Could you get licorice? Or could you get jelly bean flavored marijuana? Or
Oh yeah, I had some juicy fruit flavor just the other day, man. You know, I mean they grow it this way somehow. And it did actually have kind of a hint of the juicy fruit gum in it. It was real stony stuff, too. Boy, it'd take you on a journey in a hurry, you know.
what kind of journey are going on for Easter, Grandpa?
Well, you know, yesterday was really awesome hanging out at the hot springs. That was kind of my reawakening. So I don't know. I'm just going with the flow. We'll see what happens between now and Sunday evening. I'm sure something explosive will kick up. I mean, you know, we live in a place where the winds can kick up at any time. Yeah, and they do, you know. I mean, I met a hot hippie chick from Denver with a bus yesterday, and so who knows what might happen this weekend, you know. You darn right, yeah. You betcha, you betcha. Well, and you know, you guys, we think about you every time we munch into one of those cookies or those fine brownies.
It's always a pleasure to have you on. Good luck with the bus and the hippie chick. Have a great Easter.
Hey, you too. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great time, man. Enjoy. Yeah, happy Easter. I love it. This is so much fun. I like being me.